This is the cabinet that was on last week's video, and I was letting you all know that I was going to do a resin top on it, so you wanted to see that. And so here it is. So this resin is, you can see it's kind of discolored and yellow, but I did that on purpose. I wanted it to have, because this is like an old vintage cabinet, I wanted it to have that aged look that sometimes the resin will yellow over a few years. And so I had some old epoxy in my cupboard and decided to use it. It still is working great. It's curing just fine. And so I loved the color that came out of it. It's got that just kind of that little dingy hint of yellow to it, as if it's been sitting around for many, many years. And so I put one thick coat of this resin on there and let it flow over the top or over the edges. And then I just kept using my little heat torch and some rubbing alcohol to pop the bubbles on it for about, I'd say every 30 minutes for about 2 hours. I came and popped the bubbles and released those little air pockets to get a nice smooth clean surface. So just working this around, and then once that's all on there, I'm going to go ahead and let it sit and cure, and then it will be completely done. Usually it takes about a full 72 hours to completely cure. So yeah, this is what it ended up looking like. And every time I came up to release the air bubbles, I did take my little spatula, the silicone spatula I got at the Dollar Tree, and just wiped the edges, and that got all the excess that had been kind of drooping over the edge, and seemed to work great. Now this second project was, I have these letters in this mold. I'm going to go ahead and make a bunch of keychains, and so I am definitely going to try this mold release, because I did have a couple of molds I had to destroy to get the resin out of, and so I'm going to give this a go, and I actually really liked how it turned out. I'm going to go ahead and use my resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, so you mix the part A with part B, and you stir for a good 3 to 5 minutes, get it nice and mixed up together, and then I need to let that mold release sit for a little bit. So while that's sitting, I'm going to go ahead and do a little hummingbird keychain that I've had the mold release sitting in already. And I'm going to go ahead and use some mica powders to color in the hummingbird first, and then add the resin. And that way when I demold it, it's going to have that beautiful mica powder colors all over in the hummingbird, and it turns out super, super cute. that mold release has been sitting for a few minutes now, and so we are ready to go ahead and start pouring. So I'm just going to pour about halfway up the mold. These are about 1/4 inch thick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some gorgeous florals, dried florals, and I'm going to add some gold flakes to it. And it just turns out so, so pretty. And you can do all kinds of things. You can do glitter with these. You can do marble swirls. You can do dried florals. I just love the vast array that you can do with all of these different types of molds and resin. Just makes it fun and always interesting. You're not ever doing the same thing. And so I'll let you listen to some music and watch the magic happen. So you can see here, I'm going in now after I let that first set cure overnight. I'm going to go ahead and finish pouring the rest of the resin on top, and that's going to lock it in and make it display from both sides. And these resin projects, they definitely take a long time to finish. There's several steps in each process, but I tell you, it's so much fun and so well worth it if you want to try and get into this hobby. You can do jewelry, you can do keychains, I'm going to start doing pens if you guys want me to show you how to do some fun custom pens. There's so many things you can do with resin, and I just love it. And you definitely want to wear your PPE, your respirator mask, and your gloves, your nitrile gloves. But I did have a company reach out to me, and I am testing out their product, and it's going to help with some of the VOC fumes, which we will get to later on. I'm going to send them my video first, and then I will show it to you guys, and it definitely helps with those fumes. So now it's the next day. I'm going to go ahead and demold all of these, and there's a little bit of overrun on some of them, so I just take my X-Acto knife and cut off those extra. This resin's still pretty soft. It's not fully cured. Like I said, it takes about 72 hours. So I'm just, like I said, taking my X-Acto knife, going in there, getting all those pieces out. But they turned out so pretty. And now comes the time. This is another definitely needing patience moment. Putting the keychains together. So I just bought some chain, and I put about an inch of chain on each thing, and you have this little, oh, I forgot what the name of it is, this little ring that you hold your keys on. And then I did get a lobster claw at the top so that you can hang it on a bag or a purse. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely still really, really cool. It's time consuming, but I think they're really fun, and I think they're going to sell really well in the store. So yeah, I'm just connecting the chain to both parts there, and then we have a finished product. You'll have to let me know what you guys think, but this is definitely my favorite project of the day. I just love those gold flecks in there. And so this last project here is we are going to make a bird mold. And so I have these bird molds, and I'm going to use my mold release in these, and then again use my resin. So part A, part B, same amount, stir really well together, and then I have a gorgeous, it's like a kind of a rust colored mica powder, but it's very shiny and metallic. So we are going to make that. This is the color here from Little Lee and Rose, and I just think this is such a pretty color, especially for it's about the same color as those dried florals there. But what we're going to do is we're going to stir it up really well for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to let it sit for about 10 minutes, and that's going to allow those air bubbles to come up to the top and release. When you stir like this, you get tons and tons of micro bubbles. So you'll want to make sure to let it sit so you can let most of those bubbles release, and that way you won't have as many holes in your mold when it comes time to take it out. So I'm going to try and just fill it up completely to the very top there, and then this is going to sit for overnight. So here's the next day, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some more alcohol inside the mold, and that's going to help release that mold from the resin. It helps that mold release get kind of wet, and then you just kind of put your finger down inside, rub it around, and then you can flip it inside out, just like I'm showing you here. There we go, and then you just pull him out. Now he is a little bit still flexible at this point, but look at how cute he is. So the bottom's a little bit rough. I wasn't able to completely do the dome effect on it at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sand it down, and then I'll put a little small layer of UV resin on there and use my flashlight UV to cure it. And then he is all set. So here is the top of the little cabinet. See, it's just got enough yellow to it that it makes it look old, but it's got a really nice glossy top now, and so you can still set lamps and drinks on it and not worry about that 3D rose effect. So I'm just going to let it cure for a couple more days before giving it back to my friend to enjoy. Here's my little hummingbird. I think he turned out pretty cute. I like the colors of the mica powders there, and I added a little tassel for fun. So let me know what you guys think, and next week's video is going to be a fun video. It's going to be Sonnets Maker Box for this month, and so I can't wait to see what kind of spring things that she has in store for us. So let me know again in the comments which one was your favorite. Let me know if you want to see more resin products, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again next Friday. Bye!